You have a destiny and you have free will. We tend to think of destiny as some kind of fixed and predetermined point in the future. Due to this, it seems impossible for destiny and free will to coexist. However, destiny actually necessitates free will. I know this seems paradoxical, but we can look at it like this. Since most people would agree that free will is autonomy, the ability to decide, then what is a decision? Decisions aren't as trivial as we think that they are. They are very spooky, which is why they are starting to get a lot of attention within quantum mechanics. But what a decision ultimately has to be is confrontation with missing information. It probably makes more sense if we reverse it. If you had perfect knowledge or knew everything, then the entire idea of deciding ceases to make sense. It falls apart. A decision can only exist in the presence of missing information. I mean, it's obvious when you decide, you are essentially choosing what you will sacrifice, what will remain hidden, or what information you will forsake. You can't have your cake and eat it too. You have to pick one and forsake the other. Free will is uncertainty. It is also subjectivity. Subjectivity is confrontation with the unknown. In Third Eye Tyrone lingo, it is exploration of the imagination. This is why it's baked into our experience. We see this with the uncertainty principle within chaos mathematics and Gödel's incompleteness theorem. In order for us to exist as subjective observers, information has to be missing. You could easily flip this principle of missing information and say instead that something must always be possible. That's what quantum fluctuations are, us running into this idea that something fundamentally always has to be able to happen. That's what missing information represents. It is possibility. Nothing has an epistemological 0% chance of occurring. You could spontaneously transform right now into a brick of gold for no apparent reason. It's not impossible. It's just near zero. So we are in the midst of some kind of possibility field or space, which I call the imagination. We are always interacting with this field, and whenever we interact with it, something happens. I mean that literally, something happens. I don't know if you'd call it an event or an instance of time. It is like this Whiteheadian concrescence that produces something. This is what destiny is. It is the product of this concrescence. It is decoherence that takes place from the resolution of missing information. It is the child of interaction, and it is inevitable. It is this inevitability which causes us to believe that it is predetermined, but this is an error. When we look at the science, all information eventually resolves. This is what they call symmetry, but this is a very old esoteric idea. In esotericism, it's called polarity. This is why every action has an equal and opposite reaction. Reality is the creation and resolution of missing information. If you want to take it to the extreme with the heat death of the universe, all information eventually resolves and there will be nothing left. No more missing information, no more potential. Nothing can no longer happen. You see how that works? And as I keep saying, this is pretty much how we look at dying. This is what the imagination presents to us as. When you can no longer make decisions, you are essentially dead. You have no autonomy. Destiny has something to do with the concept of death. Death is some kind of doorway to something. And this is where things can get very spooky and cult-like. I'm not talking about drinking Kool-Aid here, but there's something behind that curtain that has had a strange relationship with humanity for a very long time, but I digress. When missing information resolves, destiny emerges. The child of the interaction is born. This is happening on a cosmic scale, as I mentioned with the death of the universe. This is why a lot of mysticism deals with something happening at the end of time, like there is a kind of birth or transformation at the end. But this is a fractally reverberating process. Every moment has micro moments within them and so on and so forth. Since all information eventually resolves, this means that everything has a destiny. But destiny isn't a future state. Destiny is more like a destination. It is where you end up in possibility space. The root of destiny and destination is destinare, meaning to make firm or establish. I hope by now you can connect the dots here. Destiny is the exhaustion of potential, and when that happens, destiny emerges. The imagination becomes real, firm or established, in other words. In the case of you could say that destiny is the establishment of your timeline. The reason why destiny necessitates free will is that destiny has to be created. It is an act of creation. That's what all of this is. It isn't a fixed point in the future that you are doomed to crash into, but rather the natural product of harmony. It is how you utilize the potential you possess. Since destiny is this concrescence or this interaction with the imagination, you could say that it is where the future and past meet. It is where they smash together. And we call this the present moment, this thing that we are all inside of. You are inside of your destiny right now, creating it. When there is no longer a present moment available to you, you are dead. You have no more potential left. At least as far as we can tell in this plane, but that's an entirely different story. You are given potential and you can do whatever you want with it. You can do nothing with it. You can make the most of it. But it will eventually run out, and when it does, destiny will spring forth as the emergent property which represents the totality of your decision. It's similar to the things we see in spiritual practices. There is this idea that you have a soul. When you die, your soul is what remains. It is the soul that is judged. It is like a rarefied single embodiment of your behavior, of everything that you are. Kind of how in Egyptian mythology, Osiris measures your heart against the weight of a feather. The heart represents something in this scenario. It is the culmination of your character. Everything you did represented as a single object. We kind of experience this when we go to funerals. We examine the life someone lived. We look at their lives as one long, continuous sequence. It's like their life essence on display. We are creating this. This is our destiny. We are performing some kind of alchemical soul transmutation. With every decision you make, you are sculpting it. You are carving a path through possibility space. This path forms a structure that becomes a hair in the fabric of reality. The same way quantum activity somehow become the very water we drink. As cliche as it is, your life is like a cell in the body of a cosmic entity beyond our comprehension, which is paradoxically you. Decisions are something akin to smithing, kind of like hammering a superheated metal. Every decision you make is like you forging your soul. You are carving out your destiny from the marble, because destiny is you, your identity. And this may disappoint a lot of people, but our lives actually mean something. Every decision we make means something. It's hard to contain this feeling of overwhelming meaning. The meaning we extract from reality is like the DNA sequence of our lives. It's the bricks which construct our reality model. If reality is a simulation, then it is processing complex emotions. I keep saying that. That feeling you have when you don't know if you should stay or go is some kind of precious data. That's what God, if you want to call it that, is after. The somber sense of loss you feel when you pick one path and forsake the other. Your destiny is everything that you chose to be, which is the same thing as saying it's everything you sacrificed. It is the fingerprint of who you are, the genetic code of the organism/living system you call your life. A one of one with its own story full of regrets, tears, friends, peace, happiness. It's all there in all of our lives in different combinations. And somehow the net result of the addition of all of these feelings is love, this irrational thing that we are all experiencing. It's like this one big emotion blew itself up into an infinite amount of pieces and is slowly putting itself back together again, like the Iron Giant at the end of the movie. And hopefully, I'm not spoiling that for anyone here, but that's what's happening here. We are creating our own story as we explore the untamed wilderness of the imagination.